Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on Blackfoot territory. And we recognize the Métis people who share a deep connection to this land. As we are here this morning at the kickoff of the Truth and Reconciliation Week here in Lethbridge, I am joined today by David Eggen, our official opposition NDP critic for advanced education, and Samantha Scott, VP External for the U of L Students' Union and President of the Council of Alberta University Students. We are here today at the University of Lethbridge with folks representing students, post-secondary groups, and faculty to discuss the future. We've had a very productive morning with a roundtable discussion about the future of students' education, job opportunities, indeed the future of the province. It is exciting that the bright minds graduating from the University of Lethbridge and at the post-secondary schools across the province, including Lethbridge College, will be building Alberta's future. Alberta has always been a place that attracts young people to start their lives. We have world-renowned schools, beautiful natural spaces to enjoy, vibrant cities, and job opportunities. However, what we've seen over the last 3 years under the UCP government has been a disturbing trend. Young people are not coming here like they used to. They're seeking jobs that have grown past the priorities of the UCP government, and significant cuts to our post-secondaries has pushed our once distinguished advanced education system further down in the rankings. That is not a good story. We have a different story to tell, and certainly as Alberta's opposition, as the NDP opposition, and under the leadership of Rachel Notley, we believe we can change this course and tell a different story. We must attract young people to the province and provide opportunities for the ones here to stay. Otherwise, they will seek to advance their education elsewhere, and along with them goes their contributions to our economy and to our communities. Young people are the province's future. They're also the present. It's a concept the UCP haven't been able to grasp. With their attacks on our healthcare system, threats against the mountains, parks, our watersheds, and policies that drive costs on insurance, taxes, school fees, tuition, utilities, up and up and up. It is no wonder that young people don't want to come to Alberta, and it is also no wonder that many folks have left Alberta. But we're here today to ask a very important question and to provide some answers to it. What will make young people stay? Earlier this year, my colleague David Eggen, MLA for Edmonton Northwest, and our NDP caucus released a proposal on the future of post-secondary education. In that proposal, we looked at the possibilities of establishing a Future Leaders Council, a group of multiple provincial government ministers, municipal leaders, young people, industry leaders, Indigenous partners, cultural leaders, faculty, and more, to focus on developing a comprehensive strategy to keep young Albertans here in Alberta and for ways to attract future leaders from other parts of the country and the world. To speak more to this, I'll now pass everything over to my colleague David Eggen.
Well, thank you, Shannon, and thank you, Samantha, for joining us here today. And so many of the group representatives that we had to take time out of their day to join us for this important discussion here at the University of Lethbridge. The beginning of our discussion today has been very insightful. Representatives for faculty, staff, students have all come together to share their thoughts on how a group like the Future Leaders Council could function, where their priorities would land, what innovative ideas we could adopt as a province to build a stronger post-secondary system. To bring young people into the province, we'll take a broad range of solutions spanning across different branches of the government, industry, services, and communities. There is no doubt that post-secondary will play a critical role in keeping young people here in Alberta and attracting young people to Alberta as well. But the further that the UCP devastates our post-secondary schools with cuts at every single budget cycle, the harder it is for schools like the University of Lethbridge to recover. It drives up tuition prices, leads to staff and program cuts, which drives down the quality of education young people need to receive here. We need to provide the best opportunities for our young people, and a monumental piece of that is to support our schools. Our leader, Rachel Notley, has said this before, And certainly it is true even more now that our greatest resource as a province are its people, especially young people, like Samantha here, are the ones that will be designing of what the future of Alberta will take a look like. Now, to share her thoughts on the importance of our Future Leaders Council, I would like to invite Samantha to say a few words.
Oh, I'll go ahead. Yep.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Samantha Scott, and I am the ULSU VP External, as well as the Chair of the Council of Alberta University Students. I am so excited to be here today and to participate in these important discussions on the future of both this great province and the young people who live here. When deciding on where to advance one's education, students are making a significant investment into Alberta by actively choosing to study here. Students are effectively committing to living and working in one place while they complete their degrees. It is essential that students have opportunities within Alberta if they are going to make the decision to study, work, and build their lives here. This is a big investment for a young person to make. The government must recognize this and in return invest in us. As a student, and through my time here at the University of Lethbridge and the Council of Alberta University Students, I have spent a significant amount of time advocating for students and their futures. Ultimately, students have the same goal as government. We want good jobs, good services, and a place that we are proud to call home. The best way to achieve this collective goal is to give students a seat at the table. It is important that all groups, students, faculty, staff, and industry can advocate for themselves and support one another. Affordability, mental health supports, access to work-integrated learning, and campus sexual violence are some of the biggest issues that students in Alberta are facing right now. Ultimately, these issues play a role in whether or not students will choose to live and study in Alberta. In order to tackle the hurdles in front of students, a channel such as the Future Leaders Council would provide students a seat at the table where decisions are being made about the province that we call home. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Samantha. And for all the potential it has, I truly hope that we can form the Future Leaders Council full of people who want to see Alberta thrive, like yourself. So now we're happy to take any questions you might have.
All right, thank you, David. Just a reminder for those joining us on the phone to use the *9 function, and for those joining us on Zoom to use the raise hand function to get into the question queue. First, we will start with any questions in person.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alejandra with Lethbridge Herald, and I was wondering, maybe Shannon could answer this, or anybody, I guess.
Okay.
What would be one strategy that you think could be the most successful in retaining students within the province?
Sure.
Well, I think in particular for Lethbridge, where we have 70% of our University of Lethbridge population that comes from elsewhere, and this year enrollment is down. And, that's obviously there's been some effects of the pandemic and so on. But really, that's one of the economic drivers of this city is when students come here, and hopefully many of them stay. We have a world-class education faculty, for example, for our Bachelor of Education program. And what we need to do is make sure that we have stabilized our K-12 education funding from the government level, such that graduates from our education faculty here, which is world-class, and people come from all over the province and the country to get their BEds here, that people have an ability to stay and teach here if they want. Because we also have graduate work in education studies as well, that again people come from elsewhere to receive. There is no question that further business development for folks coming out of that business faculty needs to be happening in a way that takes into account Southern Alberta's needs. I have been doing some outreach with the business community in terms of supports to entrepreneurs, supports for clean technology, agricultural technology, and so on, for people to be able to scale up their companies, to receive the kinds of government supports that folks are receiving in Calgary and elsewhere. There have been a number of cuts to that. We need to restore those so that people down here in southern Alberta can start their businesses and, more importantly, grow their businesses in the same ways that folks up in Calgary can. Third, if we have a very robust science and environmental science and other science programs, biology and so on, we will have jobs for folks to do in agriculture and forestry and in other departments and in agricultural sciences if we restore the previous integrity of those supports to farmers and others. We used to have a very, very robust program of scientists supporting individual farmers on things like seed selection, pest management, crop rotation, you name it. All of those supports were cut, all of those jobs were cut by the UCP government. And, well, not all, there were a number of those jobs were cut by the UCP government. I'll just pull that back. Leaving the folks that were left behind with an inability to deliver the kinds of services to individual commodity producers that they used to be able to deliver. So there is no question that our economy needs young people to graduate out of this institution, out of the college, and stay here to build the kind of economy that we want to see. That is why we need a council to make sure that that voice is being heard, not just from Edmonton, not just from Calgary, but the tremendous amount of integration that already exists between our post-secondary institutions and the broader community down here in the south, and how we can build on our strengths going forward.
Do you have a follow-up, Alejandra? Any other questions in person? All right, now we'll go to the phones. Just a reminder for those on the phones to use *9, and for those on Zoom to use the raise hand function to get into the question queue. With no questions on the phones, we'll wrap today. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much for watching, and to learn more, check out albertasfuture.ca.